Welcome in, everyone. It's a surprise live, well, not live, but live if you're a patron, video about Derek Carr being benched. Shocking news today. I really didn't expect it. Didn't expect it to see that Derek Carr was benched today by the Las Vegas Raiders, benched by head coach Josh McDaniels. He says that they're going to have a look at new players. New players. I don't know what that means. But for now, we know that for some reason, they want to take a look at Jarrett Stidham. Who cares? Jarrett Stidham sucks. We all know that. But whatever. They want to take a look at Jarrett Stidham. And this is going to have a lot of impacts on both Dynasty and this week, Championship Week. Championship Week. If you were a Dynasty team, you had Derek Carr as one of your quarterbacks. You easily could have had him as your QB1 or QB2 in Superflex. You were starting him. You're not starting him now. You cannot play Jarrett Stidham. I have him. It's against San Francisco. The worst matchup possible. I have him at quarterback 32. Can't play him. Davante Adams, next on the list. He was a high-end wide receiver 1. Not anymore. Not anymore. With Jarrett Stidham, he's all the way down at wide receiver 16. You can play him this week if you have to. I wouldn't recommend it. I would not recommend it. I mean, wide receiver 16, I guess you have to, but I hate that ranking. I feel like I want to rank him at wide receiver 30. Tough decision. But I hope you have, it's possible at this point you could have some better options. If you're a championship team, maybe you have a great team. It's possible you could get away from Davante Adams. Let's say you had Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, and T. Higgins. I would start all of them over Davante Adams. You could get away from Davante Adams this week. It is possible. He's no longer a must start, but he's a start, I guess, for most people. Then we have Darren Waller. He was tight end 8 or tight end 9. Now I have him at tight end 14. He's a no-go. No-go for Darren Waller with Jarrett Stidham. And then you can just forget about Hunter Renfrow and or Mac Hollins. Just they're outside my top 60. Forget them. Then Josh Jacobs. You probably still have to play him. The volume's going to be there, but the offense is not going to move. I have him at running back 9. You probably are forced into playing him. You probably have no choice. But we don't know. Are they going to take a look at Zamir White? Are they going to take a look at Zamir White, I think, or other, what are they going to do? Is Josh Jacobs going to play? Who knows? For now, I'm assuming he's going to play. I have him at running back 9. In terms of Dynasty, I think there's a few interesting things. Starting with the Raiders themselves. Josh Jacobs is a free agent after this year. They look like they're tearing everything apart. I'm not sure. We always talked about, do they want Josh Jacobs back? Also, does Josh Jacobs want to be there? I don't know if Josh Jacobs is going to be back. Davante Adams, I've been begging. I said it on SDLF last night, begging people to get out from under Davante Adams. He's 30. The ceiling is gone. Quarterback is gone now. I was begging. This was before I knew the news. Davante Adams is a hard sell for me in Dynasty. I don't want any part of him. I have him at wide receiver 27. I could not be more out. I don't want him. I'm not buying into an aging player who's obviously been in decline over the last few weeks. You see it. Once you see a player turns 30, you see a decline. You don't wait until, you see it. Then it's too late. I think some people still think Davante Adams is a stud. I would get out from under Davante Adams before it's too late. Now it's probably too late. I don't know what you do. You might have to wait, but I want to get out from Davante Adams. Darren Waller, same thing. Whoever the replacement for Derek Carr is, it's not going to be as good as Derek Carr. But let's talk about that then. The next part, Derek Carr. He's not going to be back. He's not going to be back. They're benching him. I don't think they're benching him. They're benching him because if he gets hurt, $40 million becomes guaranteed next year. They don't want that. They're going to be moving on from Derek Carr, I think. So in that case, obviously it takes a big hit to everyone on the team. Obviously next year, the quarterback is not going to be Jarrett Stidham. I don't know who they're going to look at as their quarterback. They have a few options. They could look to the draft. They will have a pick at this point. The pick is 9th overall. It's a possibility. They could look at the veteran options like a Gardner Minshew or a Baker Mayfield or Mike White. Sam Darnold are free agents as well. There are some options. Taylor Heineke is an option. So they have some options, but Jordan Love in trade is an option potentially. There are options. Zach Wilson as well, but Derek Carr is not going to be there. So the most interesting thing is really, I think Derek Carr, still we're at the point where Derek Carr is a franchise quarterback, not a bridge quarterback. I think Derek Carr is still seen by the NFL and NFL executives as a franchise quarterback. The Raiders are just bad. They need to rip everything apart. But Derek Carr is a franchise quarterback. I think he's still seen that way. So because he's still seen that way, I think a team will acquire him with the idea that he's probably going to be their starter for 2 more years. So I haven't moved him down too much in Dynasty. I still think you're going to get some value out of Derek Carr. I think of the teams, that I'm looking at as possible destinations, the Jets jump off the page as the first option. They have a disaster in Zach Wilson. We know that Zach Wilson is not it. They have good weapons. They have Breece Hall coming back, Garrett Wilson emerging. Corey Davis is still there, veteran impact. Elijah Moore has had a down season, but he's talented. He's still only 22 years old, second-year player. He has the talent. Maybe Derek Carr can help. We know Derek Carr worked well with Hunter Renfrow. Elijah Moore might be able to play a similar role or another role for Derek Carr. Worked well with Matt Collins this year. So we know that Derek Carr can provide fantasy numbers for his weapons. And the Jets also have Tyler Conklin, who's kind of emerged this year as a nice option at tight end. Nice, not great, but a solid option. And they have Michael Carter and Zonovan Knight, depth in the running back room behind Breece Hall, even if he's not ready for week 1. So they are very well set up, minus a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. Zach Wilson is a failure, big failure, total bust. They don't have a quarterback. So Derek Carr, for me, the Jets are number 1 on the list of teams that would be interested in acquiring Derek Carr. The Jets pick 15th in the draft. It's too late, I think, to get a quarterback there. I don't think they're going to get a good one. So the Jets are top of my list for Derek Carr. Other teams that could be interested. Washington, of course. Washington does not have a quarterback. The team is pretty good overall, but no quarterback. Washington is a team that could be interested in Derek Carr. Those are the main 2 that I see that are obvious, the Jets and the Commanders. There are a couple of other teams where it's a possibility, but, Seattle, if they think that Derek Carr is an upgrade from Geno Smith, maybe they make that move. But there aren't that many choices. Carolina, they're a little early in the draft. I don't know if they make an early move for Derek Carr, but he would stabilize their quarterback position compared to what they've had. But really, the Jets and the Commanders, they jump off the page as just great situations for someone like Derek Carr to come in and finally stabilize the quarterback rooms on those 2 franchises. I do think the deal will be done sooner rather than later. I think this is one of those deals that's going to happen in January or February. You're not benching Derek Carr to save this money if you're then going to return to Derek Carr next year. I really don't think that's going to happen. And I do think teams will still give up something. Carson Wentz fetched a conditional 2nd or 3rd round pick last year and, had fetched a 2nd the year before. I think you'll be able to get easily a 2nd round pick for Derek Carr. I mean, if I'm the Jets right now, 2nd round pick is 46 overall. If it costs 46 and then maybe the 4th round pick to get Derek Carr, I think that's a very reasonable price to pay. His contract is not prohibitive. It's not horrible. It was an interesting team-friendly deal that they signed. Very little of the money is guaranteed outside of injury. And he carries a $34 million cap hit next year. It's not too bad. And then 43 and 43, but none of it's guaranteed. He has a full no trade clause, but, I assume he would waive it. Doesn't seem like he really, but that also is something to keep in mind. He has control over his destination. So if he doesn't want to go to Washington or doesn't want to go to the Jets, then he won't go there. He's going to be a part of this decision. But I do think that he would, appreciate an opportunity to be on a stronger contender. The Raiders are rebuilding. So I do think the deal will get done. And I would be very excited if he were a Jet. If he were a Jet, he would be much better than Mike White. And we see what Mike White has done for Zach Wilson. But I think the most important thing is that if there's a selling window, or no, not a selling, a buying window on Derek Carr in Superflex leagues, if you can pay mid-second, even an early second for Derek Carr, I still think you're getting Now the value is going to be at an all-time low. I still think you're getting a quarterback who's going to give you 2 or 3 more years at least of starting. He's only 31 years old. 2 or 3 more years of starting at a decently high level. I mean, even this year, which has been a disaster, he's still been a quarterback 2 most of the time. That's valuable in a super flex league. So I would pounce on this opportunity to potentially acquire Derek Carr if your trade deadline is still open or during the offseason after rosters reset next week after championship week. But, for this week, it's a big, big decline for all Raiders players. I already had the San Francisco defense 1. Now they're like, if I could put them at defense 0 or -10, they're so far above everyone else playing against Jared Stidham. They're by far the number 1 defense for the week. But it is a big downgrade, and it's unfortunate for those who were relying on Derek Carr, Devontae Adams, or even Josh Jacobs or Darren Waller for their fantasy titles. It is a big, big impact. I hope you have other options. If you liked this video, make sure to leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're going to have more videos like this about these impacts, big trades throughout the offseason, short 10 to 15 minute videos, digestible content. We're going to have more of that throughout the offseason, mostly solo from me. And also, if you want to watch these live, if you want to see these live before they're released, if you sign up for the Patreon at any tier, you will get access to this. It's live. This is live for the patrons. If you're a patron, you were able to see this live and potentially comment. Nobody did because it was very last minute, this one. But I will have these impact videos live for the patrons, and then they will be uploaded on the channel like how everyone else is seeing it a little bit later. But if you want that early access to the video, becoming a patron is the way to do that. And the link to the Patreon is in the show comments. Oh, there's a patron. Yeah, Patreon's worth it. Yes, I agree. I hope so. But yes, I appreciate that. And once again, if you liked the video, I thank you for that. And I will catch you all on the next video. Peace.